All right, here looking at the surface area of a sphere. First of all, a sphere is basically like a three-dimensional circle, okay? And so when we think about it that way, it's really a ball, but it's a perfect ball, okay? When we work our way around that ball, it's a perfect circle no matter which way we work our way around that ball, okay? So it's perfectly round in every way, shape, and form, okay? So that's what we're talking about when we talk about a sphere, all right? The surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. That's how we find the surface area. In other words, the area that covers the outside of this ball, all right? And that formula probably looks similar to us from other formulas that we've seen with circles, and that's because it is. Really, this formula comes from kind of taking the circumference and rotating it around, so it ends up being like the circumference times another circumference, okay? And so that's kind of where this comes from. For our purposes, we just need to know the formula, and the formula is surface area equals 4 pi r squared, okay? And so for this first example, as I look at this thing, and you'll see that these kind of act pretty much the way circles do, but in 3 dimensions. And so when I look at something like this guy, the surface area equals 4 pi r squared. And so I just plug this in. I say, okay, well, the surface area of this particular example, I'm going to use the 3.14 again. You can use the pi button, and that's fine. But now the radius of this thing, well, there it is. It's 4 centimeters. It goes from the center to the sphere itself. Just like with a circle, the radius goes from the center to the circle itself. And really, that means I could measure this radius this way as well and call that 4 centimeters. Or I could measure it diagonally like this. Okay, as long as I measure from the center to the sphere itself, I'm measuring a radius, just like I did when I measured this in circles. Okay, so as it goes from the center to the sphere itself, it's a radius of the sphere. Okay, and so for this one, that's going to be a 4, so 4 squared. And this is a job for my calculator, so I do 4 times the 3.14 times the 4 squared, and that gives me a 200.96. And if you use the pi button on your calculator, you'll get a slightly different answer here, and that's okay. All right, your answer will be more accurate technically than the one I have. And the units this time are going to be square centimeters, okay? Because we're talking about square units because we're talking about area, okay? If I look at this one, same kind of thing. I'm going to use that formula, surface area for a sphere equals 4 pi r squared. And so for this one, I'm going to use 3.14 again. You can use pi, that's okay. But now the radius this time, so this one's measuring the entire way across the sphere. Well, that would be the diameter of the sphere, all right? And just like in our circle, the diameter is the whole way across, the radius is halfway across. So this time the radius is going to be a 5, okay? And once again, this is a job for my calculator, 4 times 3.14 times 5 squared. And so for this one, I got 314. Again, if you use the pi button, you'll get something that's slightly different. And that's going to be square meters for this one. Okay? If I look at this guy, once again, surface area equals 4 pi r squared. And so the kind of the point of this one, as you kind of look at this thing, I look at the measurement that's given and I see it's diagonal. Well, that's okay in a sphere, okay? I can have a radius that's measured in kind of a diagonal fashion. Once again, I'm going to use 3.14 here. But now the radius, that is the radius, okay? Because it goes from the center of the sphere to the sphere itself, that counts as a radius. And I can measure that in any direction now with a sphere. So long as I measure from the center to the sphere itself, I'm talking about a radius. Okay, and so I've got 4 for my calculator here, 4 times 3.14 times the 5 squared. And once again, that's the same as what I just punched in moments ago. So that's the surface area is 314. And again, if you use the pi button on your calculator, yeah, you get a slightly different answer. You'll have some decimals here, and that's okay, all right? Better than okay, all right?